Hey guys, it's time for bike number 2 in my bike collection videos. So this is my fastest bike, but potentially my least interesting bike. So it is a Felt Z4 Endurance road bike. I bought this last August after going without a road bike for quite a few years. So instead of a road bike, basically I used a cyclocross bike. So I've had a couple cyclocross bikes over the years, and mainly because where I live, we have sweet gravel roads, and so my rides generally are a mix of pavement and gravel roads, and we have fast downhills, sketchy corners, and in my opinion, you at least need a cyclocross bike to truly enjoy those. You could put 28mm tires on this and do it. Sure, it's doable, but you're not going to have fun on the downhills. You're not going to have the same kind of fun in the corners as using a more appropriate bicycle. So this actually, I've been into riding since I think 1990, 1991, and this is my very first actually all carbon fiber bike. I've owned steel, aluminum, and titanium, and I have, as of before this bike, I have never owned a full carbon bike. So this is what they refer to as an endurance bike or a Gran Fondo bike. I prefer the word endurance. Gran Fondo sounds very recreational. So the idea is it has a comfortable riding position. It's slightly more upright. Elements in the frame design to absorb road vibration. And it is a really smooth riding bike. So what can I tell you about the design? So first off, we'll start here with the seat post and the seat tube. So they have this extension here. The idea is that this is slightly cantilevered, so you'll get some flex here to reduce vibration and make it comfortable. They've gone to a very small diameter seat post. I think it's a 25.4 or 25.6, again, for more flexibility. And then the rear triangle here, they have this design here, and the idea is that you'll get, a half a millimeter of give on really rough stuff to make the ride smoother. It's really nicely integrated up front here. So it has, in the bottom, it has an integrated headset race there. So it has this beautiful smooth integration, the kind of thing you'd only see on really expensive bikes like 4, 5, 6 years ago, and now it's trickling down. So this is the Z4, so it's a SRAM rival Gruppo, so I think that's like comparable to Shimano 105 kind of thing. So it's middle of the range. It's nothing super fancy, but it's quite a nice bike. I think it comes in a little bit under 18 pounds stock. So it's reasonably light. It's comfortable. It's fast. Out of most of my bikes, out of my collection, this is probably the bike I ride the least amount of kilometers, and I explained it's mostly because of my mix of choosing gravel. But the reason I bought the bike is because I started doing the whole Strava thing, and I do have some competitive juices flowing through my veins, and I wanted to do some of the segment racing on there, and I just wanted to close the technology gap to the other riders. And unfortunately, I turned 44 years old last month. I still believe, unfortunately, that I can be one of the faster riders in the city, and yeah, so I wanted to get a road bike to make the marginal gains, as you could say, from a nice cross bike. So the bike originally came with these wheels. So these are the stock wheels, and it's a Felt branded hub. They are Mavic rims, the CXP22s. So it's like a training wheel. It's designed for strength, not aerodynamics. I happen to have a pair of Easton Circuit wheels that I had purchased actually for one of my cross bikes. Again, a slightly nicer wheel set that came stock on the cross bike I had. And Easton didn't always make wheels. Basically, to get into the wheel business, they actually bought another wheel company. So you can see this hub is branded Velomax. So Easton bought Velomax, which was like an independent wheel builder that was well respected. So this is kind of that first generation where the stuff was changing from Velomax to Easton branded. So they have Easton stickers on the rim, but there's a Velomax hub, and these are actually really nice for the price. They use a threaded spoke here, so they don't have a J bend or a hook there, so it's nice, clean looking. This is all nicely, beautifully integrated, aerodynamic looking. It's butted here, and it's butted up top here. I think it's a 28mm section rim, so it's quasi aero. They're not bladed spokes. But everything I read about these Easton Circuit wheels, especially the first generation where they still had lots of Velomax influence, but they were excellent value for reasonably aerodynamic, reasonably lightweight wheels, and they've been serving me well. So now I've moved them over to this bike. So on the stock wheels here, I'm running 28mm tires. If I ever do want to do some of that gravel road type riding, or I know I'm going to be going to really rough roads, so I have those set up with 28mm wheels. And then these wheels, luckily it turned out the stickers actually basically match the colorway on the bicycle almost perfectly. So they actually look like they're the stock wheels that came with the bike. So I got lucky there. The tires on here are these Mavic, I don't even know how to pronounce the model name of those tires. So those were the stock tires that actually came on those wheels. They're 25mm. I put them on there. They're not high-end tires by any means, but I'm certainly not going to change them until they wear out. And with the amount of kilometers that I put on this bike, those tires are going to last probably a few more seasons. It is compact gearing, and so it's a 50-tooth big ring. I think it's a 34 small, and then I'm using an 1128 10-speed on the back. And for most intents and purposes, it's working fine. You know, for climbing, it's good. For the majority of the Strava segments we have around here, it's fine. But there are actually a few segments that, because I live in a fairly hilly place, there are some downhill segments where, you know, the average speeds on those segments are approaching 60k an hour, close to 70k an hour. And, you know, the compact gearing isn't almost big enough for some of that stuff. There is a segment, I've never actually ridden down it, but I think it's called Down the Valley, and it's just basically a city street that is a very, very gradual downhill, but the average speed on that now for the person that has the fastest time, it's like over 60k an hour, and I'm like, holy smokes, like I don't even think I could do that with this gearing. I would need like a 5311. But that segment basically faces east-west, and with prevailing westerlies, there was quite a few days last year where I remember we had like 50-60 kilometer an hour winds. So when we had windy days like that, I could see guys were going out and going on these east-west segments and setting the fastest times using the wind to help them. Which, I mean, yeah, I guess you could call it cheating if you want. Yeah, so yeah, there's not much more to say about this bike other than the fact that it's comfortable, it's reasonably lightweight, it's quite fast. I don't really have any complaints about it other than, you know, the issues I have with the gearing, but that's on the extreme end of things. I could see me keeping this bike for a few years now. So yeah, just a video about bike number 2 in my collection, a Felt Z4 Endurance road bike. Thanks for watching. Bye.